The story you were telling us earlier.
Yep.
That now there's something that the CS for Education, Bwana Machogu alisema, watoto wawache kusoma after saa ngapi?
After 4 p.m.
Saa 10 ikifika,
go home.
Walimu wawache kufanya watoto waendelee kufanya nini? Kusoma.
Yep.
I read that story.
Okay, so it's brewing.
Oh, there's a brewery.
Just wait. I just want to do something and show you.
Okay.
But so there's a story that's carried today.
That thing always. I'm not a robot. No, do it. It's okay.
Start doing. I'm not a robot. What time is it?
It's okay. We have time. Still Monday. We have time. You're looking for all the pictures that have nyadhi.
Meshika hiyo
Yeah, kabisa.
He's not going to let it go. This one today. No. Okay. So this one can go on forever. I beg. I'm not doing. Okay. Look. The CS had given an order on school hours. He had said there is no reason why children, and really this is until the age of 18, should be studying after 4 o'clock. They start school at 8, they finish at 4, go home and rest. He extended this to students in boarding schools and said, look here, it is enough time. 8 hours, is it not? Give or take an hour when you have breaks and lunch and this and the other thing. But 8 to 4 is enough time for you to get your studying done. And then he said, no, this is against what is actually happening, all right? We have students who are going to school to be in school for preps at 5:20. Do you understand? Are you hearing? 5 o'clock in the morning, 20
Prep
past
starts.
the hour. Yes. Okay? 5:20 preps have started. They go until 6, have breakfast, this kind of thing, and then they continue until the other students come in. Now, those in that class who are not boarders are also required to be in school at that time.
Yeah.
And then the normal day starts after they do assembly, whatever this thing. They go on until about 3:30, and then the day closes. That is when now extra lessons begin. Extra lessons go until about 6 o'clock. They stop again for a break, and then they go until 9.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, those who are boarding also stay in. I mean, not those who are not boarders stay in school until 9 p.m.
Some schools.
Some schools.
What school is that? 9 p.m.
Yes.
Because you're standard. Your candidate.
Candidate.
Okay.
Candidate is staying in school until 9 p.m. Now, you get home and you do what? You do homework, because this thing.
What are you doing until 9 p.m.?
It's preps. They're still teaching.
But there's no assignment that you are like, give you time to do assignment.
You know, there's classwork and there's homework, eh? Please, let's differentiate the two.
Sure, any assignment.
But see, homework. Ile class in class. You go and practice his homework. You get it? Now, CS Machogu said, no. Stop it. 8 to 4 is enough. The word that he used actually was enforcing a ban on these classes outside stipulated teaching. Now, it would... Edna
is having trouble. This robot thing is telling her, click on the boxes that have traffic lights. She's like, I can't move.
So...
Let's continue our story.
It's a ban that he's saying, stop it. So that means, according to the ministry, there's a stipulated time for teaching. Apparently, this is in the guidelines, that teaching should happen between 8 and 4. Now, teachers have said the reason why we did this in the first place was 2. 1, we do not have enough time to deliver and complete the syllabus. So in the hours that we have on Monday to Friday, between 8 to 4, it is not enough time. That we will come to the time where the year is coming to an end and we have not finished what was set for us to do in that term, and then consequently in the year. That's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, we do not have enough teachers. We don't have enough teachers.
Okay.
So what are we doing is that we have to extend beyond the hour so that the teacher will now take up, because in schools we have class teachers from primary 1 to 3. One teacher covers all subject areas.
It's a homeroom teacher.
The homeroom teacher will do math, science, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
When you get to 4, that's now when you have subject teachers coming in addition to your class teacher.
Okay.
Right? So you have subject teachers from class 4.
Okay.
They're saying we just don't have enough to cover. The class teacher now...
So not enough teachers.
Yes. Understaffed.
What does that mean?
They're saying they're understaffed.
Sawa. In a day, there are several lessons. 45 minutes, 45 minutes. Are they 45 minutes? In primary school,
about
are they
40,
40 minutes, all right?
yes.
So you have 40 minutes, 40 Not enough teacher. Does not enough teachers mean that there are some 40-minute lessons that don't have a teacher in class? Because this teacher is the same math teacher who is in standard 6B.
Yes.
And so standard 6A will not have.
So you have a math teacher that you'll find the math teacher is teaching math in 6, teaching math in 7, teaching math in 8.
Okay.
Do you get
Is there a time when standard 6 will have math lesson, but the teacher is not in class? Is that what they're saying?
That seems to be what they're saying.
That
That
seems to be what
what
they're
I'm then doing is because I had math, and then that's an issue of the headmaster and the administration. Why are you putting, if you know you have this one teacher, why are you putting math at the same time in the 3 classes, knowing that it's the same person who's going to teach?
That's a question that needs to be
So
sorted out.
that you need extra time for this
So you
one
need the
teacher
extra
to
time
teach
for
them
yes.
this lesson. But can I ask the question
Ask.
then? Do we have schools who don't necessarily keep children until these late hours?
Yes.
And who have the same curriculum?
Yes.
So how do they go about it?
They have more teachers
Actually, the issue...
Those ones don't have teachers.
at all.
The issue, what's it?
I'm saying the honest conversation about this has to be had.
Yeah.
What we're discussing now is a culmination of an evolutionary process that emanated not just from wanting students to actually understand the syllabus, but from teachers wanting to augment their pay. Because with tuitions came money. Remember, we even had a situation where we had CS who said, no, this thing of parents paying extra money for tuition, forget about it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because it used to be an extra school fees. But
It was an extra school fees. So essentially, one arguably would not necessarily teach what they're supposed to teach within the time.
So that they could pass
Yes, yes. Now, it's gone completely muddled now when you have 2 systems running parallel.
yeah.
And so the argument has even gotten more convoluted. So it's very, very difficult to actually determine, because there are schools that don't have enough teachers. There's no question about it.
Yep.
There are schools that by nature of their geographical location and whatever historical issues they have problems, and there's a need for students to actually be given that additional time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you what the reaction from teachers is, so that this can help, they can fuel this conversation. All right. The reaction now is the issue that has come about.
Okay.
Machogu came in and he said, first of all,
No
very,
prep.
very simply,
No
stop it.
prep. No.
No extra. 8 to 4 should be able to do it.
Yeah.
We also find that the greater extra comes for standard 8s,
Yes.
isn't it?
Candidates. Yep.
It is for them that we find a lot of this extra comes in place, because standard 8s who board, mind you, they're in class from 5 to 9. And then they're in class on Saturday from 8 to 12.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That is it. That's what they do.
Yes.
Machogu is saying this is too much. Now, teachers have said, all right, we will comply with the CS Ezekiel Machogu's directive, curbing early morning and late evening classes. But we are pointing to the challenge that forces us to resort to these extra lessons in the first place, such as understaffing. They say, given the teacher shortages, tutors arrange the extra lessons to help them cover the syllabus. And they're saying this ban will disadvantage students in day schools as their counterparts in boarding schools continue with the additional lessons. Because they're saying, hey, look, man, they're there anyway. So during this extra time, what are they doing? They might as well do the study. Teachers also say it's not just them, by the way. The parents of these children are preferring their children to take the extended lessons instead of leaving school early to jaywalk. Okay, the words they use were loitering in the streets.
They are loitering
around. They're mangamangai. You see, the discussion about students attending extra classes, that the discussion in my mind, that's what we're hearing is parents wanting their children to excel.
To get more.
Yes.
So if you are told by the teachers of your children that this is the method that we will need to use for children to do well or to do extraordinarily well, then parents by and large will comply. Now, the question that one asks is, when you have students in class for these lengthy hours, how much do they really benefit?
I have a question for you, teacher.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Have you found that it's the exact same question that you've asked? can we see that there has been improvement in performance or even retention of knowledge because of this extra time that has been accorded to learning over time? Because you said in the previous, at 6 a.m., you said that this thing didn't just start now. It has been there where the extra classes have been given. So over time, have we been able to see, number one, the syllabus has then been delivered in completion. Number two, there has been retention of knowledge and better performance, whether it's at the exam level or overall, because of these extra hours. On the converse, have we been able to see that those who are learning from 8 to 4 are doing just as well as those who are getting an extra 6 hours?
I think anecdotally, I could say that in the schools where you see that teachers are available for after classes, so a teacher is available to assist the student, one-on-one. There's a child who feels that there is something they didn't get, and the teacher says, I'm going to be available after classes for remedial, whatever, at this time. You will see some better performance.
Yes.
And you'll see children actually seeking that out. In areas where you see, the school has a holistic approach to this. So we're going to have these remedial classes. We are going to have better attention being given to the students in preparation for the exams. You actually see, even the students know that we have been put into this mind frame of we are working to studying towards improving our grades and improving how we respond to the exam. You will see that. And I also think that in those schools where, is Nisangapi, bell ring, go home, see you tomorrow. Assignment, if everybody has been given assignment, then you come and exchange books. Question number 1, what's the answer? A. Everybody mark A. Question number 2, what's the answer? B. Mark B. Who did not get question number 1? A. A majority got A, so we move on.
We're not even going to explain anything.
Who didn't get question number? Who didn't get question number 2 right? Okay, what's wrong with you people? Can you come and show them? In those ones, performance, not as,
there's this discussion about the learning process, and there is also the discussion about an ecosystem that is ideal for the learning process to be optimized.
Sure.
Now, it's not just a question of being in class for long hours. There has to be recreation. There has to be sports.
Yes.
One of the things that this system of ours did, it killed sports completely. Meaning, you're just learning throughout, and the only time you have is a little time to maybe some half an hour to do something or the other. The balance that is there, it's being argued that because you need to complete the syllabus. Now, we are saying, therefore, that the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development created curriculums that in the normal 8 hours that are provided for could not be completed.
Yes.
So you have to ask the question. Yes, so you have to ask the question again. Even in counties and in schools where they don't have enough teachers, and you have a problem, well, this plethora of problems we keep talking about, do we have situations where their teachers will actually complete the syllabus? You see,
without the extra.
Yes.
Without the extra.
Yes. You see, this conversation is being made as though it's one conversation. It isn't. It's many conversations. And one has to be specific and targeted when you're talking about, say, for instance, there aren't enough teachers. Okay. Do they have whatever is required to pass on the information? Do they have the books? Or whatever else you need, do they have it?
Yeah.
And even if they have it, all right, there is the issue of the students. I mean, this discussion revolves around what we're discussing yesterday. And I said, we will never solve this problem so long as we insist that people who end up teaching our children are people who took that career as the choice that they didn't want.
As the last choice, not even the second or the third choice.
No.
As a, all right, well, let me just do it because, you see.
I need a job.
Yeah.
If you look at, as I said, the countries we keep talking about where the education system is a wow situation, look at the caliber of teachers and the demand and the qualifications and the level at which the entry point for teachers in those places.
CT, you're right, because I have a friend
Yes.
in Nigeria. He's an architect by profession.
By training.
By
training, all right? He then was moving to the UK and then did a course that would allow him to be a teacher. My friend the exam that he... There's a reason why I said he's an architect by training. Because he's done the coursework to become a certified architect. The exam that he needed to do to become a teacher of mathematics in the UK, he was in school for another 2 years, and then passing that exam, there's a certain mark that you must pass.
Otherwise, no one's going to allow you to
come and teach their children.
Yes.
To come and teach their children, you must also meet the mark. So that by the time you have achieved that status and they say, okay, now come and teach some grade 7, because that's what come and teach grade 7. My friend, they are sure that you are able to do it. So it's the inverse here. It's not just, oh, okay, so you come and teach. No. Go and do 1, 2, 3, and then we can consider you to come and teach these children. If you don't have
the best minds teaching your children, the best motivated, meaning by terms of even remunerations that they are given teaching your children, what do you think they are going to produce at the end of that learning process? And year in, year out, we keep having this discussion, and yet uplifting and ensuring that this particular sector is one which is revered. When you talk of a teacher, you're talking about someone who, by the time someone is a teacher, this is an extremely serious person.
So let me ask you a question, TT.
Yes.
Pardon me. If we painted the ideal picture today,
yes,
and said that, Kenya has a situation whereby its teachers are, number one, revered amongst professions. Number two, you are sure that you have a teacher coming into said school, 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, across board, public, private, whatever. Do you think then, taking that into consideration, that they would then be able to teach for understanding, for retention of knowledge, for performing well in assessments within this stipulated time that the CS is saying must be done?
They would think. You see, why I'm talking about the top brains, and I'm using this as loosely as I can, is because you have somebody who just doesn't do rote learning, someone who thinks. This is the curriculum, this is the subject, these are the texts. You read that text and you configure it to suit the purpose for which. Not just you go from chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3 to chapter 4.
Or you go and photocopy notes and then you give your children, go and write these notes.
Not that. You ingest that whole thing and you look at your class. If you're, teaching, Form 3, you will find, if you're a teacher, that the way you teach Form 3B is not the same way you're going to teach Form 3A. Content is the same. Because every class has its own personality. Believe me, they are a different entity as a class. So you'll teach the same thing, but you'll approach it differently. I'm saying the care and attention that somebody who is motivated and is doing something they want to do, and they know that they are among the best brains you have in the country, my friend, they are going to produce wonderful things. This discussion we keep having, the discussions will be held at a very different level, and solutions will be found, because the people who are embedded in that process and who interact with that process will know what can work, what can't work. But so long as you have people who simply have to put up with this thing because they need a job, you are going to have a situation where we keep churning out students and children and people who have issues galore. Because, yes, sir.
That's true. But now the teachers are saying, us guys are okay staying the extra hour, not for charging. It's not going to
for overtime.
Not
whatever.
for overtime. Just so that we can spend time with these children to teach them.
Now.
Okay? That's the teacher's argument.
Sure.
We want tuition to be retained. Minister, I don't know whether it also goes into ministry. Minister says tuition, no. So how do we strike that balance? Where do you sit in that conversation?
There are situations where tuition is needed because not all students understand at the same pace as the others. So they do need that extra time. The problem here is you're saying all the students need extra time.
At the same time.
At the same time. So the question is why?
But then also one of the answers one answer to that why is that you'll find that this is done especially for the candidature.
Yes.
Especially at the time of candidature for exams assessment. That as students are entering that candidature class of Form 4 and Class 8, that's when they're saying, and you know what it is? It's the motivation behind institutions to perform
We
well.
want our children to do better.
Yes.
Eric, it is
If
true.
a child does, if you're a math teacher and the performance in math is good, it also improves your
reflects your
career.
No, it does.
Prospects.
It does.
Right?
In an earlier time, you'd find...
So it means that these teachers are actually committed to. They have.
Yes.
They're invested in this.
Yes.
I want my children to do better because it's what
Yes.
it means for me.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it does.
Which
Yes,
is a good thing.
yes, it does. And also, even at a personal level, the fact
pride.
that you have good... Nyazi,
students
you
who are
have good performing...
who are
students
performing
perform
well.
well. There's something good about it. And there was also recognition from the education administrator. They'll come and tell you, your students have done well. Now, but Eric, you see, I cannot speak authoritatively about this particular curriculum. But if I recall, in a time gone by, one of the things that teachers sought to do was to make sure that essentially the curriculum that is required is completed by the first term. So second and third term, you're essentially revising. Okay? Now, how do they do it? I mean, do they use a curriculum? Some schools, you'll find by the time you get to Form 3,
You're done with Form 4.
yes, exactly. Now, how do they do it? I am simply trying to say this.
Was it efficiency or were they just rushing over
No,
things?
no, it was efficiency. One of the advantages of having taught for a long time is you do understand your subject matter. And with the time, you will know exactly how to ensure that your students get to understand it the way they should. It's even better if you're an examiner because you then know how to factor your training and position it so that it meets the requirements of an exam. So your students automatically will do well. But the discussion that the minister is having is one that we must not get emotional about. We must... No, we mustn't. We mustn't throw stones. We mustn't call the minister names. No, we must say, okay, there seems to be an issue here. How do we address it realistically? And it can't be one shoe fits all. No. It has to be something that you look at, okay, this particular region, this particular school, what do they need? Because in all honesty, if you have a school that has 200 students and you have 5 teachers, it's going to be a tall order.
Problem.
It's going to be a very, very tall order. And the situation that is being discussed here may be necessary.
Maybe one that's necessary, yeah?
In fact, yes, it may be necessary because how else do you get these 5 teachers to teach everyone in the school?
That's true.
Extra time has to be allocated. But then you can't say that all schools need that.
So let's hear from you as well. 0719-012-600. Do you support this order by CS for Education, Ezekiel Machogu, banning prep? This is morning and evening prep in schools. It doesn't matter, boarding, day school. It says prep, let students go to school in the stipulated hours. Those hours are clearly gazetted even. This is the time learning starts. This is the time learning stops. Teachers have said, Bwana Machogu, ni sawa tutakombrai, lakini please elewa why we've been doing this. They say given the teacher shortages, tutors arrange the extra lessons to help them over the syllabus, and the ban will disadvantage students in day schools because their counterparts in boarding schools continue with the additional lessons. Ni sawa tutakombrai, but elewa. Why have you been doing this? Now we want to hear from you. 0719-012-600. Do you support this ban by CS Ezekiel Machogu saying no prep, extra tuition, and all those other things? So to circumvent the order by the earlier ministers from the late Mutula Kilonzo and others who said this thing of holiday tuition, schools close, and then there's 2 weeks of the school holiday that is a mandatory sort of tuition where teachers say or schools say your children are expected to come to school and you shall pay X amount for tuition during holiday. And then weekends, there's going to be X for tuition. And this and the other. That was ended. But teachers have still been doing the extra remedial classes early before school's class starts and after, at the end of school. Do you support this? Do you not? Dennis in Embu, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, my
How
brother?
are you doing, guys? I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
We are well as well.
Now, yes, on this issue, I partially agree and partially disagree.
Let's start with the partially where you agree.
Okay, I agree because it could be so tedious to young kids and stuff. But on the other hand, it is so beneficial. It is training your kids to harden, to be. The society out here, it's not simple as it is not. It doesn't expect you to be weak, so you have to harden yourself from. There's a Kikuyu proverb that says, Now, when you harden your kid from down there now, atakuwa akikuwa strong in the mind, in the brains. No.
So you think going to school very early in the morning and staying in school until very late, that's part of hardening?
Yes, it's like in the military. You have to be strong. That's why it's not easy as people think. And I don't know who is complaining, by the way. You have been through this process. I'm just 22 years old. I graduated the other day. Yeah. And we enjoyed the process. We enjoyed the boarding schools. We enjoyed the...
Were you in boarding in primary, Dennis?
Yes, I got to boarding school when I was in class 6.
So from class 6 you were in boarding. What time were you reporting to school? What time were you going to class in boarding?
In my school, class 6, 7, and 8, we used to report at 4 a.m.
4 a.m. you are in class.
Yes.
Wait. Let's start with, what time do you get to class? What time do you wake up?
Okay, we used to, around 4:30, we were given 30 minutes for preparations. We take a shower. We are given coffee. You see, it is not a bad process.
So 4:30,
it's a very enjoyable process.
4:30, you are in class.
Yes.
And then in the evening you have games time.
You have around 4 p.m. You go and play until maybe 5 or 5:30.
Supper at 6.
Supper 6, and then you go for evening preps. You are given time to revise until 9 p.m. You see, it's a nice process. You don't know who is fighting it. It's all coming from the parents, and they don't understand.
The parents don't understand.
Yes, they don't understand.
That's very interesting that you say that, because it is not parents. Parents are actually asking that their students continue with this extra prep.
Some
parents. This is coming from the ministry. It's coming from the CS, who is saying it is beyond the guidelines set for students to learn.
And it is not producing a holistic child, because then this child is just stressed because it's class.
If that's what is being advocated, then we are going to raise very weak kids. You know how the situation is outside here. You have to harden. You have to grow and you see, you have to harden yourselves, and it all starts there.
At your 23 years of age, Dennis, do you think you're hard? Do you think you're hard enough because of what you went through?
Yes. If I never went through that process, I will be weak. I will be. I don't know. It's a nice process.
That's an interesting perspective, isn't it?
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Zachary.
Oh, Zachary, who's your Zachary? Why are you?
Brother.
Go to the door, my brother. No, get out there.
He's saying I should translate what we are saying.
Yeah,
I'm asking him how he is.
Happy New Year, Zachary.
Oh, happy New Year, Mr. Andrew. And there is a guy. We don't call our agent Happy Mr. Andrew. I thought if you can get off. So, this is the thing, yeah? I'm happy. I'm doing well. I'm visiting some schools and I'm happy, yeah?
Good.
Let me say this. With the teacher, that guy, the minister, yeah? I concur with him 100%. Do you know what, Mr. Eric?
Tell me.
Before 8844 happened, I went through the old system. You know, for some 3 years. I think we are almost the same age with you, yeah? And there was time to play. There was time to be a boy. Yeah, you boy. You go there, you play. You play, yeah? And you develop your brain. Outside now the formal education, yeah? And let me say this. I thank God that some of us are able even to now, like now, express ourselves simply like the way I'm doing now. Yeah? The teachers that we had were not actually, they were not teachers. They were not in teaching, like, to the core, yeah? But except Mr. Morimadro there. Now, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to these schools, and I'm fighting now the young teachers, yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm very sure they went through the support system. Can I tell you something?
Tell us.
These guys do not appreciate art. They had no time to appreciate creativity. I mean, you kind of see there is something lacking in these people. Okay, they are graduates, but we do not appreciate things done by the human spirit. And this is the product of the 844 system, that it never gave a person chance to see beyond the corner. Do you see, they are wearing some very sharp shoes and very tight trousers and some hanging whatever, and yet they are seeing the laptops and the phones, very sophisticated phones. Then you find that, these people don't connect with nature. They do not connect with the real human person. Because imagine this, yeah? Do you know right now where I'm heading, Mr. Eric?
Tell us.
I'm heading to your alma mater. I'm heading to your alma mater. And I'm very, very sure the guys are just there. They do not appreciate the real art. Now, what is the... but the principle...
They were number one nationally, my friend. You know, just let's first of all, let's start from there, okay?
Yep.
The best performing school in 2022 is where you're going this morning. Can you start from there?
Yesterday I was at Arias.
Yesterday, who are those?
Yesterday I was at Arias. There's very somebody for a school there. And this is what I'm saying, yeah? The product, the kind of guys that are sitting there, I'm saying I'm very, very, very sure they are a product of it, because all of them do piano. Yeah?
So basically, just to conclude, you are saying that you support Machogu. There should be no prep.
Very much. Very much. In fact, if he's charging us to support him, I would say these kids, like now I'm here at school, you can hear some noise, yeah? They are appreciating these things more than the teachers who are teaching them. The young teachers who went through the promotion system.
Okay.
Because they are being taught this is what you can do with your hands. This is how you appreciate art. Take time to appreciate art. And you can only do that if you are not having a book. You interact with nature, interact with soil, mold, interact with carpentry. You know, the hard courses, yeah?
Sawa.
So I'm supporting him 100%. And you guys, you have a nice time and a good year.
You too.
And Tero do he's very silent on me. Tero, and you understand.
You're very silent on him. You understand.
Yeah.
Sawa. Jacinta in Kisumu, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Karibu.
I just wanted to also contribute on the ban of PrEP. I'm an 844 product. Pre-primary school, we used to go to school at 8 and come back at noon. Lower class, we used to go to school at 8, come back at 12:30.
That's 1 to 3.
Yes, 1 to 3. We started going back to school in grade 4. And it was until 3:45. High school, I was in boarding. We wake up at 6, we do the chores, we start classes at 8. We go for lunch. At 2, we go back to class, we are taught. We leave at 4, we go for games. And if it was at night, you have to go for preps, there was no teaching.
Okay.
That one gives you time to have your, probably if you want to read, you want to internalize what has been taught. You know, this free time gives you space.
Yeah.
So that you can read.
So your study time.
On your own. Yes, on your own. If you teach me from 5 to 9, what time do I have for my personal study? There's no time. And again, we are talking about building other skills. Not all of us can go through the system and come out of it through passing exams. But that doesn't mean that you're a failure.
That you're incapable.
Probably, yes. And look at the kind of A's we used to have. There were not so many. But they went. You see, they're able to adapt. Huh?
Yeah.
Look at the kind of age we are having right now.
Which kind of
Jacinta, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your call.
And now the children are used to being taught, being spoon-fed. Now you're left on your own. And let us strive to have a balance for our children.
Okay.
Let them play. Yeah, because if they don't play when they're this young, in their adult stage, they're just people who are stressed. And there's just a much that you can take. 8 to 4 is enough time for
studying. Asante Jacinta.
For studying.
Have a good day.
Yes. And there are schools that do that. Aga Khan, Kisumu, they go to school the same way we went to school. Pre-primary to lower class, it is 8 to noon.
Jacinta, thank you.
Children don't go back to school.
Let me pick other callers as well. Robert Inoidaka, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Uh-huh.
I think I'll dive right into it.
Please do.
You see, I think with the CBC, it's enhancing innovation. Now, with our current system, it's like we're creating robots. I've heard of some guy saying he used to wake up at 4 and yet he was in class 6. Alafu unapata prep inaisha 10. We are human beings. We are not robots where we are systemed into tough. But I think that is a bit tough for someone in class 6. That guy in class 6, does he even have the time for being creative as a child? We need to start enhancing innovation. In the time anaanza kucheza, anaanza kuona maybe I can do this, I'm good at this and this, but he has been clouded with the book. So we find the guy has passed with great marks, amekuja university, he's doing maybe an innovative course, but he's busy waiting for employment. I don't find that.
So you don't
right.
agree?
I do not. I think.
What do you think? So, if, of course, if this child is not in class at 4 a.m., he's going to be asleep.
Yeah.
Or do you want him to be awake doing creativity?
It doesn't need to be awake at that time.
Okay.
Wapunguziwe kidogo.
Okay. So school ends at 4, and that's the time to do the extracurricular.
Yes, it ends because when you go to certain schools, they take into that time. Like for example, go to most schools. Do they take PE seriously?
No, they don't.
Mwalimu wa math anaingia anasema hii PE bana, you must ID. I'm here to teach. You guys, tumalize syllabus. So umekimbizwa kama mwizi. You're just thinking. You don't even have time to be a human being. Unapata mtoto Eric amepanda basi ya 6. Unaona anakunywa chai bana na wewe kwa gari. Na ni matatu. You start even wondering, mimi naenda kutafuta pesa. Huyu mtoto kweli. I think we need to relook at that, and I'm glad with the CBC it's trying to tackle such things.
Okay.
Because Kenya, we need to start being innovative.
Okay. Thank you, Robert.
Welcome.
Have a good day. Let's hear from you. 0719-012-600. Do you support the order by Education CS Ezekiel Machogu banning what?
Extra
prep
lessons. Prep.
Early morning, late evening prep, forget about it. Class starts at whatever time is stipulated, that those are the learning hours. That's what should happen.
I'm remembering what, just glossing over what CT had said earlier about if you then have a teaching system, a teacher who obviously understands and really is vested in this teaching thing. It's not about delivering notes. It's actually about teaching. It's conferring knowledge, isn't it? To these learners. That's what it is. What you have ingested in terms of learning and the manner in which you deliver the content. Because I think sometimes we get it wrong to think that a teacher has all this information and they are geniuses. No. It's about delivering content. That's why you prep as a teacher as well. It's the manner in which you deliver the content is what you have gone to school to learn.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm still on that. Based on that, is it then not possible? Employing your creativity, employing things like time management and all of this, is it possible then to confer this knowledge to these learners in the guided timelines that have been stipulated? Is it possible to do that? Do we need the extra?
You need the extras.
And if we're saying we need the extra, then is it also then not, again, the call, this, I forget his name, who's just called a few minutes ago, the call, or rather the emphasis that has been placed on passing an exam, shouldn't that be shifted a little bit then towards now the gaining of knowledge and understanding?
Competencies.
And and if we don't place as much importance as the mark you get in an exam, then perhaps the importance of this extra lesson then would also start to decrease. Isn't it? If we look at it like that.
You know, it would. Huh? Just look at every field of endeavor or every discipline that you want to think of. They all have a structure and a system that seeks to improve the knowledge and the delivery of that knowledge or the practice of it to the public. They always, it's either an exam or a further qualification.
Yeah.
Or an apprentice, it's something, or a seminar, something or the other. Okay? And that is because of the understanding that life and everything around it is dynamic. Now, that dynamism, do you see it in education? Because, you know, we are stuck on this point because it's a discussion we keep having, and we've been having it for the longest possible time. And it's the same discussion. And that is why I am of the view that we're dealing with the symptom and not the problem. You cannot have such an important task, such an important responsibility. It is by far the most important responsibility a parent can delegate. Teachers are there a loco parentis instead of the parent. And then this person whom you leave, in whose hands you leave your child, you want this person to be the sort of person who just happens to be there, didn't really want that job. And so, I mean, there are many dedicated teachers who wanted to teach, but they're not the majority.
They're not.
Now, you tell me, if that is our logic and our reasoning, don't you think we have a problem? And yet, look at the pain and the difficulty and the processes parents go through to try and make sure their children do well. Just think of that process.
Yeah.
Now,
okay. Let's hear from Oma. Oma, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're
Fine.
very well,
Fine,
thank
thank
you.
you.
How is Kisumu?
Kisumu is fine.
Good.
Yeah, I also would like to concur that the students need a little bit more time to be themselves. Yeah, personally, I've been a teacher in a school where students literally don't have any time for themselves. They wake up very early and they go to sleep at 11:30 p.m. No games, no PE. This is a boarding school, remember. I will not reveal the name for security purposes. A boarding school with very nice structures, a very nice gate, but the performance is dismal. It is defeated even with the day schools at the sub-county level. Why? They are just nurturing zombies. I also would like to partly disagree with the CS. It is not enough to just ban preps. The thing you should ban is teachers going to teach during that time, but students should have their own time to study. Yes, they should go to class at 5 a.m. and study on their own.
Okay.
And they should also have the evening preps.
Sasa, you said you want the children to have time for themselves.
No, you want them to...
Reading on their own. You know, if you just
That's
say
what you
that
meant
there's
by-
That's
no
what you mean
prep,
by time for themselves.
yes, it means they will leave class at 3:10 and not touch books for the rest of the day, that also will be counterproductive. Yes.
But that is time for
now
themselves.
look at a school like Nyambaria, that the CS himself confessed that the A's in Nyambaria had been produced by the experience of the principal. So those are not the students' A's, they are the principal's A's. If that guy was not the principal there could be no such A's in Nyambaria.
But surely,
we want the students to be allowed to make their own A's.
Surely, if we're to be fair, you tell me, if you have a head teacher who actually knows his onions from his leeks, don't you think that will guide that school to a better performance? And it is not the headmaster who sat for the exams, it's the students.
But of course, the structures are put there, and we don't know what is into this experience that makes a student who is talented not to perform in school A and perform in school B because the principal is experienced. I think that was a lame argument. A student who is gifted can perform in Rachuonyo Primary School, can also perform in Alliance Primary School.
Oh, Nyambaria.
Secondary.
Yes. Given the student has an apt brain, the student can just perform anywhere. Personally, I scored 423 marks in a primary school where you could not differentiate between a door and a window.
Come on.
Yes, and the teachers were always taking tea and bread
not teaching.
under the trees. Not teaching. We were teaching ourselves, and we managed.
Now imagine if somebody had taught you.
You'd have done so for 70.
Yes. So a student who is gifted is just gifted. Let's give them time to be students. Let them play during games time. Let them play during PE time. But when it is time for study, let them go to class and study on their own. Don't want to go to the library. Let them go to the library and read.
So,
the teachers should only supervise.
Thank you, Oma.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I'm scared.
You know, it's a tale that can be replicated in very many places. And he is right in this sense. If you find adequately motivated students, they will actually help each other raise the bar.
Yeah.
There'll be that internal competition and also assistance they give to each other. They will actually move and raise the bar.
True.
It is possible.
That's true.